Hello, everybody. Here we are again. So I want to talk to you today about something that is actually stopping you from maintaining an awakening, maybe stopping you from having an awakening. And this is something that I have mentioned in almost every awakening session that I've done in the last 10 years or so. I don't know, 8 or 10 years, something like that. And but it's something that I've never heard discussed. As far as I know, I invented the term. And once you understand what I'm talking about here, once you get it, won't be difficult. Won't be. This will not be difficult for you to get. I promise. Then all you have to do is start recognizing what's happening to you, and stop. And you don't stop it, but stop believing in it. Okay. Here's the deal. What happens after an awakening? Or actually, prior to an awakening, what happens? Prior to an awakening, there is this idea that oh man, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it real soon. No, you're not. So this is the book I'm going to read. This is the event I'm to go to. This is the one. I'm real jacked up, and I'm probably going to get it today. And doubt it. Yeah, it just comes in, right? And boy, I really felt clear last night. I believe something happened, and probably not. Yeah, I mean that's the way it works. And this is what Ramana called the doubts. Okay, these are the doubts that come in and they haunt you. And boy, if you think they haunt you in pre-awakening, wait until you're in post-awakening. Really, in particularly in very early post-awakening. Sometimes where you don't even know if you've had an awakening or not, right? Because some of you have and don't recognize it. Others recognize it but haven't had it. Lots of those. So these doubts, when they in post awakening, here's how they sound. If you were really awake, you wouldn't think like this. If you were really, what these are thought patterns. I should have identified this earlier. I just got stupid on you. So these are thought patterns. They're just thoughts. They're thought patterns, though. They're patterned out. They're right ready, and they're ready to go as soon as there is any kind of a threat to a shift, either before or after. It doesn't matter. So, and it'll come in and says, boy, if you were really awake, you wouldn't think like this. Boy, if you were really awake, you wouldn't act like this. Man, you're a spiritual teacher. You ought to know better than this. You're doing okay, I guess, but you certainly should be clearer than this. I hear that more often than anything, almost any words in post awakening. There's a couple others that go with it, but it's very, very common. So what happens is the doubts come in. Did I really have that awakening? Was that for real? Am I fooling myself? Doggone. I don't want to be. I bet I'm just being played for a fool. Man, I don't want to be humiliated out in public. I say something about this non-duality thing, and nobody's going to agree with me. Well, that's true. They're not. So, best thing that you to do is to not say anything in public, because usually when we're trying to do that, it's ego, and its ego wants to, just get out there and get lots of attention and stuff like that. Which is not good for you at all. It wasn't good for me, and I had bad egos anybody ever had. So just terrible. I mean, I had no reason to be so arrogant, but there was absolutely nothing backing that up. But it came. So these thought patterns, they're automated. You don't do them. Here's an example. You get none of that, but of something that's very similar. Because you don't do these things, it's just conditioning arising. So what I wanted to say is that if you go to the doctor and you want to get a physical, then you'll say, hey, give me a physical. And maybe they're going to start right down with your reflexes, and probably the first thing they're going to hit. And for some people, maybe the last thing they're going to hit, but usually they're elbows and stuff. But they hit that, let's just say they go to the knee and they hit the knee and your leg flies up, right? Because it's reflexive. And you weren't expecting that for some reason. You never heard about that, didn't know anything about reflexes. And so you're kind of embarrassed and you're saying, doctor, I don't know what happened there, but but I can promise you this, it won't happen again. And he pops your knee with the little hammer and bam comes your leg. And now you're puzzled and you're embarrassed. And you say, doctor, I don't know what was up with that, but I've got my eye on it now. I can see that something is going on, and I'm resolved that I'm going to stop doing this. I'm absolutely going to stop doing this from here on until I die. And he pops your knee and your leg goes up. Doctor, I swear to God, I don't believe in, you're just humiliated. I don't believe I don't believe in knees or doctors or hammers or anything else. And I'm never going to. And he pops your knee and bam, here it comes. You can't stop that because you're not doing it. It's just happening. It's part of the happening. And what it is what I call it's reflexive conditioning. So when he said, you are not the body, and up will come, I can tell you, it came up in this head and was like, oh, bullshit. Tell me I'm not the body. I know better, right? And you can know better, but you'll never wake up as long as you do. So waking up requires just a little bit of stupidity, or we could just call it a whole lot of humility. And we seem to be quite short of humility in the non-dual world, and I understand that. I was pretty damn short on humility too, and some say I am now, and it's true. There's still vanity here. There's still ego here. It's not like I've graduated from ego. It shows up. It flares up. There's lots of ego bait out there. I just don't take much of it, right? And I can't, because the instant I start believing my own press, then this teaching dies. But I get emails virtually every day, if not every day, saying, thank you so much. I've made so much progress. I've woken up due to this. I started watching you years ago and I finally got it, or I just turned you on YouTube and got it the first time I listened to you, all kinds of stuff. Or I read your books. Somebody wrote about that today. I read your books and I got it, right? Just got it from your books. It was great. And I wanted to thank you, whatever. They're not asking, they're not like angling for anything. They just wanted to share the fact that they were grateful for the help they had received, which, they didn't receive it from me, but I understand why they write this unit to do it, because I would feel the same way. I would know differently, but I would still, I guarantee you, you get me around, a spiritual teacher that's been of a lot of help to me, and I'm just gonna gush. Just gonna gush, man. So up come these thoughts. If I was clearer than I should be clearer than this. If I was really awake, I wouldn't act like this. This wouldn't be happening if I was really awake. Would an awakened person do that? Well, I don't know. Let's check. Did you here? I would have to ask, did you do it? And the answer would be, yeah, I did it. Well, then I guess awakened people do that. But I didn't think, what the hell? You didn't know. See, we all become the non-duality. We got all these preconceptions. And and they're all bullshit. All of them. It's just, I'm gonna do this, gonna be like this when I wake up, and I can't wait till I wake up because, and list and list and list. We just got lists of stuff. And I promise you that when you go to making those lists, it is absolutely useless. Because what you think that awakening is, you think you pretty well got it. I know, I thought I had it pretty good too. And I didn't have it. I wasn't even close. So chances are that maybe you were not any closer than I was. But you're closer than close. So those sound like contradictory statements, but they're really not. You'll wake up and you'll see what I'm talking about. What do you do about these thoughts that you can't stop? Because you can't stop them. You try to stop them, they just get worse, don't they? Somebody said, go to war with your mind and see who wins, right? So these patterns just arise. It's just, I mean, you got to understand this stuff goes back thousands of years with DNA wise. And I mean, I'm not saying there's reincarnation, there certainly is not, but we know there's a DNA chain and we can run it back hundreds of thousands of years, depending on the person. And we could, I guess we could all go back to a common mother, so to speak, if we go back to, I don't think it's that little monkey that they found out there for years and years. I think it's some other little fairly furry creature that they found that is the common mother, the oldest one that they can find. At any rate, what I want to tell you is this conditioned reflex is too powerful for you. You don't think it's too powerful for you, and that's why you can't wake up. You don't think it's too powerful for you, and that's why you can't stay awake. And you don't think it's too powerful because you're arrogant like I was, and you can't either wake up or stay awake, one of the two. It doesn't make any difference. So what I want you to do is that you can't stop it, but you can stop believing it. Okay? You can stop believing it. You really can. You'll think, how would I do that? Don't, there's no how to it. Just stop believing it. Well, that's crazy, Fred. It may be crazy, but it does work. I know, because I've not only seen it work in me, but I've seen it work in dozens and dozens of students, maybe hundreds, because I just say this all the time in awakening sessions and stuff. But it's not something I'll talk about all the time, but it does come up regularly in satsang and one-on-ones of that are not awakening sessions, clarity sessions, all that kind of stuff. So what you can do, but you will believe it by default, because that's the way these units are hooked up. They're hooked up to believe thought, and that is a thought. No thought is true. That's how we can check a thought to see if it is true. Is it a thought? Yes. Well, then it's a lie. And it's not true. But until we get this really steady in our heads, we feel like we're going in and out of clarity, or I'm making a lot of progress, but now I'm right back to where I was. Blah, 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 blah. It's reflexive conditioning. Reflexive conditioning is what it is. So what I want you to do, and is I want you to start doing inquiry. And it comes up and it says, an awakened person wouldn't really, and then just ask, well, is that true? Do you actually know that that's true? No, I don't know it's true. Well, what makes you think it's true? Well, I said it a minute ago, and I always believe what I say. Right? Somebody told me, and I said, screw my own ideas. I'm just going with yours. This is the kind of insanity that we engage in when we're seekers. This is the kind of, and when in very early post-awakening, there's a big seeker streak going on. There's a lot of conditioning there, and it's very strong and it's very deep. And this idea that you're going to just wake up one time and wow, I've got it. Now I'm going to go to the jungle and lead my people. Whatever. Okay, it might work for you, but it didn't work for me, and I haven't seen it work for anybody. And I have worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of awakened beings who were in early awakening. Fred's trying to talk. So, God, I hope not. If he gets in here, he'll ruin it. You will believe thoughts by habit unless you will come in and ask, is that true? Awakened being wouldn't do this. Is that true? Do you know that that's true? Are you sure it's true? Or did you just make it up? Or did you just hear it? Or did you just read it? Well, you just wake up, it's one big thing, and then you've got it forever. Well, I mean, is that your experience? No, but my experience is invalid. I'm keying on yours to some teacher. I'm listening to this book, this tape, this video, whatever. It makes no difference. If you're not following your own observations, what the hell are you doing here? Because that's what this is all about. It's about arriving into or recognizing clarity is a better way to put it. Recognizing clarity partly through reason and part way through what that reason allows you, the little jump that is not logical, because there is such a thing. But we can get a long way there with logic. Don't run logic down. I hear people that don't think much of intellect, and I'm going to guess they don't have much. So conditioned reflex. Question these things. Did that really happen? Here's something I did for people to prevent this, is that when very often I'm in an awakening session, someone's just been awake a little while with me, and I will ask them, in your regular life, do you ever have the idea that, man, this can't be it? I mean, there's got to be more here going on than meets the eye. Got to be more than this. And do you ever have that feeling? And everybody I've ever asked that says, yeah, of course, sure I have. And everybody I know has. And then I'll say, well, how about this truth that we're discussing right now? Do you have any doubts whatsoever that this is the truth? Nope, none. Well, then that's not like your relative experience, is it? Nope, it's not. Remember this. When I was with Fred, there was absolute confidence, absolute sureness, absolute knowing that what was being transmitted was truth. And recognize that no matter what you think, that's the truth. Your awakeness, whether you know it or not, your awakeness, whether you believe it or not, you're just not conscious awakeness until you know it. Right? And once you know it a little while, then certainly the belief will come. The belief doesn't necessarily have to come first. It'll come, but you've got to know it. And part of that is getting these principles intellectually, and then the rest is taking that leap from the intellectual into the paradoxical. Because all of this is paradoxical. Somebody asked me if I'm awake, and on one hand, I'm just going to tell you, no, there's nobody that's awake. Nobody ever woke up. And then somebody else will ask me, said, so are you an awakened being? And I will say, no, but I understand what you're saying, and I am awakeness. But I let people get by with awakened being because it's something to say, but it's really not that. It's awakeness. So reflexive conditioning, words to the wise. I love you. See you later. Bye-bye.